Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm an artist and former teacher, and this channel is about me on the road back to my creativity after burnout. So, for today's video, I'm revisiting a piece that I've left on the back burner for a little bit, like 2 years. 2 years, yes, two. But I'm revisiting it, and that's what's important. This video is about finishing that piece because I have a goal for 2026. I'm gonna finish what I start. So I want to talk a little bit about why it can be so hard to finish things, especially when you're dealing with anxiety or burnout. And then I'm gonna show you my process as I put the finishing touches on this piece.
All right, so for this tea time, it's more so walking through my process, and I'm gonna explain to you some of the choices I made as I try to stick this out and finish it. But as you see, this is the piece that I started with. I was blocking in the colors and just trying to get a feel for what I want to do. So when I started this piece, I was taking an art class at the time, and they had taught us filters to use for lighting, like how to manipulate Procreate, and I don't remember a single thing. So I tried to move on from that and was trying to fill in the piece. And I decided to draw a girl in the background because what is a Jasmine illustration without a girl, a pretty girl? And of course, she gonna be a beautiful black queen. I took this reference from Pinterest. And yeah, I did trace the original reference photo just because I was not trying to be bothered with the complications of the dress and her stance. I really just wanted to focus on the painting, and you'll see by the end of this painting it doesn't even look like that anyways. But originally I used multiple reference photos, and I originally wanted her hair to like have braids, but you saw back there quickly I was like, nah, too much work. And speaking of too much work, like I almost abandoned this piece, like even as I was trying to make this video, and mostly because there was a lot of things that were difficult for me. I was trying to relearn how to use Procreate, and I was just struggling. But it just goes to the topic of this video, like why it's hard to finish things. And for me, like I just want it to look perfect. And there is a lot of imperfections in this piece, and not just to like be the one to be like, oh, my piece so ugly, just so you can tell me how good it looks. No, it's more so like, yeah, I'm embracing like some of the imperfections that I'm noticing, but it was really a learning experience. And it was a learning experience that I don't typically get when I'm just doing a sketch or in my sketchbook and stuff like that. You see, I get to play around with the things that I struggle with. I like to draw diverse women in general, but in this piece, she's a black woman, and I got to work on the kinky curly hair with the painterly brush style. It was very hard to combine the two, and I was also just looking for that shape, especially with the profile of her face. Like there's so many things I was just trying to challenge myself on level 10 with this piece. Like there were so many things I had here that it made me want to give up. But no, for real, cause sis, what is this hair? Like, what is this? I don't even know. But I was really ready to crash out at this point because I kept looking at it and I'm like, oh my god, somebody save her, please. But kept pushing forward, and I was looking at multiple references trying to get the shape of her hair to look more cutesy, and it took a little work, to look a little frustration to get there, but it and you'll see that I don't even resolve it at this point. I just move on to something else, which is the ear, the dreaded ear. I struggle so much with ears, but but that's okay. I kept playing around with it. Eventually I ditched the ear because I'm like, it's not working. But the point is, it can be really hard to finish things for me in the past because when I was working, I just had little patience to put into my craft, put into my skill. I wanted immediate results. I didn't want it to be ugly. And when it was ugly, or when I felt like it was ugly, I just gave up, abandoned the piece, and do something more mindless like watch TV, scroll on my phone. But now that I have more time to dedicate towards my art, I find that I'm a little bit more patient. Ooh, what's up with those freckles? But I found that I'm able to be way more patient and stick through and experiment. Have fun with experimenting. You see, I finally got to the point where I was happy with the shape of her hair. Where that was not where I started. But essentially, I just experimented. I've made originally she was at a sitting stance. I changed that because it to me it just didn't look the way I wanted it to. And I noticed that I was way less afraid to mess up because usually I would just crash out, throw the piece away from me, leave the room. Oh, y'all like my nails, by the way? Anyways, sorry, ADHD brain. In any case, what was I talking about? I was way more willing to experiment and play around with the piece. I didn't have a set fixed mindset for how I wanted it to look. I just played around and I challenged myself. Like, I struggle with clothing and I really wanted to put effort into the dress, make it look beautiful, make her look like a princess. And, she looked a little bit like a velociraptor with that stance. So I had to ditch the arms. And I was like, I'm not going to focus on anything that's going to really make me want to not do this. I want to enjoy and have fun with it. So eventually I just ditched the hands altogether, put them behind her back. That is classic thing that I do to avoid all responsibility. But in any case, I found that this piece was kind of a happy accident. Like, I was playing around with the theme or the story. She had like a staff originally. She's gonna be like a sheep queen. I don't know. But it changed it to something completely different. I was playing around with the brushes on Procreate, the grass brushes, and then I found this glimmer brush that just made it look so magical and just fit the piece so well. So, it's a lot of happy accidents going on with this piece. I think Bob Ross will be proud. But in any case, I learned a lot about myself by sticking through this piece. I learned that I'm more capable than I believe. Like, I look at this and it looks like an illustration out of a book. Like, it's really beautiful. Yeah, I was so happy with it. I started singing. Listen. Go outside when you walk on my life. Why you walked on my life? Hope you enjoyed that. But anyways, so I was just so proud of myself as I put the finishing touches. Like, I was really patient. I wasn't in a rush. And this is the final piece. And I'm giving myself a pat on the back and affirmation because I did that. I did what I said I was going to do. I finished it. And now we're going to transition back to the main video. Thank you for sticking through with this time lapse and listening to me yap during my tea time.
I'm so glad that I finished this piece. I'm realizing that finishing doesn't have to be perfect. I know, the perfectionist in me hates to say that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done, Sometimes you just have to push past those hard parts and lock in and not be afraid to make those mistakes along the way. So I actually feel really proud of myself for this, even though it took time. 2 years, look, 2 years. But it really shows how much I've changed since I first started it. I feel a lot more free as I transition into this new role. So my life looked really different back then. So coming back to this piece just feels like coming back to a part of myself that I just have been neglecting for so long. So thanks for being a part of that with me. If you want to continue to watch my journey from a burnt out teacher to artist, feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.